some people want to project onto that and say that's a bad approach and you're being toxic, that's toxic positivity. And I really see it as we're always going to find the good in whatever we are facing. And it doesn't mean that you can't have other emotions. You are allowed to feel angry and sad and upset and feel grief, and just none of those emotions are bad, but ultimately choosing love over everything. So I want to know if you have heard of the whole lucky girl syndrome. It is this thing going around on TikTok where you're talking about basically, what if you just show up and you're just like, I'm the luckiest girl out there. I am the luckiest person alive. Everything always works out for me. And I'm just so lucky. Like everything just is so great because I'm so lucky. And I think going into the month of March, which is like, all about, I guess not all about, but there's St. Patrick's Day and that whole luck of the Irish thing. I'm 0% Irish. But this mindset of like, is that actually the approach you should be taking? Like this mindset of, everything always works out for me and I'm so lucky. And is that, toxic positivity? Is that taking an approach where it's not actually conducive for your life? Or is it maybe the best approach you could take? I have started off this year with that mindset of everything always works out for me. And I had been listening to Abraham Hicks for a while. So Esther Hicks, also Abraham Hicks, she talks a lot about this mindset of, your ability to attract things into your vortex, into your space, based on believing that they're already there, based on acting as if they're already in your space. And that way you become the vibration, the match for that vibrationally. And at first it didn't make sense to me and it started to slowly come together. And then this mantra that's written on my mirror right now is everything always works out for me. And I kind of started to just have this belief of like, okay, well, what if I woke up and really did think I was just the luckiest person and everything's working out for me? And what if every single time something small did work out for me, I like celebrated it and took note of it? The science behind this is your reticular activating system, RAS, is basically your awareness. So we're taking in so much around us that it's hard for our brain to just like comprehend every single thing. We comprehend a very, very small portion of what we're taking in. What I mean by comprehend is like allow it to fully, we're filtering out a lot basically. And so with that, if you set your mind to like, I am focused on like all the good things that are coming to me, the process of that is that you're going to start seeing new opportunities, seeing more of the good versus the bad, and seeing things that are just like working in your favor. And so is that the right mindset and approach to take with your personal growth journey? And so this year I started to take more of an approach with that and really, really believe it. So I learned about it the past couple of years with Abraham Hicks, and now I'm really stepping into it. Like I said on my mirror, I have everything always works out for me. And I was telling my clients about this with my BCB babes, and they, the very next day, I woke up and felt so nauseous. I couldn't get onto a plane that I was supposed to go on. And the mantra that everything always works out for me went to my head immediately. Almost like, is this the universe laughing at me? But really, I felt like it was almost like a moment for me to trust and be like, nope, even though I feel so nauseous, I can't get on a plane right now, I'm going to trust that everything always works out for me. And so I did. And then I was able to shift my flight a little bit and go onto a later flight. My nausea went away, I got some medication, and it was all good. And when I got there, I ended up having to shift my flight in order to be able to make it to my uncle's funeral. And as soon as I landed in New Orleans, I went up to the ticket counter of this gentleman, and he was so kind and helpful. He was so just like understanding as I talked to him about my situation. And I just went into this with this thought of like, it's going to work out. Like everything that's going to work out, it's going to work out. And it actually did. I was able to, make that work out. He helped me out. It's something that could have cost a lot of money and been almost impossible. He was able to make it work in like 15 minutes, and it was great. And that was just a small little like wink, like, hey, like if you hadn't, pushed your flight back, you wouldn't have been able to sit down at the counter with that specific person to help you change your flight. So I started to just see everything is working out for me. even the things that like at face value, if someone else were to look at my life situation, they might see something be like, "Ooh, you should feel bad about that," or "Ooh, like that's a bad thing. We should like, we should only focus on why that's so terrible going on in our lives right now." And I was having a conversation with a client, and she's going through something really hard. Loss is really hard. Losing anyone in your life is not easy, especially someone close like a parent. And the approach of that she's taken is it's definitely helped her take stock of her life and help her see like just how important her health is and how important her family is. And she's started to really like show up for herself and prioritize herself even more. And she was like, J.Go, like I feel like before us working together, like it would not have been the case. I would have gone back towards maybe just trying to drink every day and self-medicate and just want to sleep all day. And that doesn't mean she doesn't have hard days where she doesn't want to still do that, but she's taking an approach and she's like, I felt like I had a choice. There were two paths I could have taken with this happening to me. And I decided to use it as a way to like fully embrace life and really, find just gratitude around her family. And it doesn't mean that there still isn't sadness and grief that you're carrying, but that's just such a testament to the fact that like we still ultimately have that choice. And so that's why I think that the approach of like everything's always working out for me, some people want to project onto that and say that's a bad approach and you're being toxic, that's toxic positivity. And I really see it as we're always going to find the good in whatever we are facing. And it doesn't mean that you can't have other emotions. You are allowed to feel angry and sad and upset and feel grief, and just none of those emotions are bad, but ultimately choosing love over everything. So even when you're working through those hard emotions, you're recognizing, hey, this is going to help me grow in love. This is helping me grow within myself. And I'm going to keep showing up and be stronger because of it. And what an empowering approach to life to be able to recognize that everything is always working out for me, opposed to nothing ever works out for me, or this always happens to me. That mindset that's so disempowering and putting yourself down, you're instead shifting into, everything always works out for me because I ultimately have that choice to say that it's working out, to find a way for it to work out, to create space for it to work out, even when it feels like things aren't working out for you, seeing it as a part of the journey. That approach is something that's going to be life-changing for you, and you're going to stop feeling those obstacles and roadblocks as like completely getting in the way, and instead see them as an opportunity for you to grow and learn and get stronger. Again, I never want you to minimize the feelings when you are going through something, but I want you to see the potential of growth there at some point that you can have. So you always have that choice. You always get to choose how you feel, how you approach that situation. I am taking that approach, going all in with that when it comes to my coaching, when it comes to life. And an example of this is like just the way that my vision board has been working and things have been coming together and coming to fruition in a way that maybe on my timeline it wouldn't have looked like this, but it's all working out for me. And so I want you guys to see that as the same. So I want to help you see that more. I want to help support you with your health journey, but more so even your self-love journey. They go hand in hand. And so when I was planning out my mindset, I thought that I had to keep, that I couldn't show up for you guys and be both, that I couldn't hold space to be a health coach and I couldn't hold space to be a life coach. And then I realized they go together so well. And so I'm taking the approach of like everything's always working out for me even in my business. So I'm like seeing it as like this, I thought I was facing an obstacle with thinking I had to choose, I had to make a choice and like stop talking about health and all of those things and only talk about the mindset. But the body, the mind, and the soul are all connected. So that's how I'm taking this approach with my coaching. I also was worried that I'm like, I really want to help people, and I just was recognizing I would get on these calls for Body Confident Blueprint for BCB to join my group coaching program, and it was hard for them to make this level of an investment, especially for their first investment. And because it was a higher ticket, I wasn't able to support them in the way that I would have loved to. They still had access to like my podcast resources, which is why I'm doubling the amount of episodes I'm giving out, because I want to make sure I'm making the impact. I want to make sure that I'm helping you in any way that I can in whatever capacity you're able to invest in yourself, whether it's the time of just listening to these episodes that you've set aside. Like, that's an amazing first investment. But let's talk about other ways that you can invest in yourself and the ways that I'm shifting in order to create space for wherever you're at on your investment and in your journey. So I do high-level coaching now. I do one-on-one health and life coaching. And that is something where if you want support with your routine, with shifting your mind and changing your life in a way that's going to just put all the pieces together for you, because there's a lot of different components that you've been probably trying to put together for yourself, but you maybe are either stuck in that Googling mode where you're trying to Google the right program for you, Google how to heal your hormones, Google, how to start a routine, how to make habits that stick, how to change my mindset, self-development, just all those things. So I'm able to I'm able to take your specific goals and create a program around it that supports you, create, your healing journey in a way that supports you, and then give you that coaching throughout it, because there are going to be obstacles that come up, and that's where I come in to support you. I'm holding your hand along the way. It's very high touch, high level. BCB Universe is the next level there, where you're getting the group coaching and community component, you're getting the modules, you're getting the support with all of the things that I'm doing to help you find you again. It's a very, very powerful component here. That's really ultimately what I want to help you with at whatever level. Now, BCB Universe, you're able to do both, get some one-on-one support, but it is the group coaching that you get to go through. You jump into there, go through that, and you are part of that community. So I love that. It's something that I really wanted to focus on more of, was community support, so that you never feel like you have to go through this journey alone. You have people that are in it with you. You have the support of me, and it just means a lot to me. But then I had those. I've shifted and started to develop it even more, but I was like, you know what? This isn't enough. There are people out there that, maybe they need like a jumpstart support. They've tried to start their goals. They're not sure what obstacles are keeping them back. They're like, I know things are coming up, but I don't know how to shake them. I don't know how to really make this stuff stick. Maybe I start, taking care of myself, prioritizing my needs for like about couple weeks, and then something happens, and as soon as there's a kink in the wheel, I fall off, and I need to figure out the tools and ways to support. I've just started doing confident breakthrough intensive sessions where we do a coaching call, me and you, one-on-one, and you're getting that support where we're able to talk through like what's really coming up. We're able to audit what's going on, and then not only will you be working with me on that call, but you're going to get a week of Voxer messaging support with me, so that I make sure that you're implementing what needs to be implemented, that we talk about on the call, so that it really you start to take action. Very often we invest in something and then we don't implement into our lives. My goal is for whatever level you decide to start working with me, you are implementing things as soon as we start working together. That includes my do it yourself, do it at your own pace course. So I talked about this before. Busy BCB, my Body Confident Blueprint course, is for the busy woman who, wants to jumpstart their health and mindset, wants help with understanding how to incorporate, meal prep and macros and mindset and their routines into their busy life. But right now, it's going to be easy for them to get a course and do it on their own, do it at their own pace. That way they're not having to, get on weekly calls or schedule a call or anything like that. So I wanted to be able to offer that for someone that, they want the blueprint, and then they just want to go all in with themselves and do that for them. And then also the final way of connecting and being able to support you in your health and self-love journey is this podcast, connecting with our community in this podcast. So my intention behind this podcast, especially going into this year, is to really harness a community that's supporting each other. We're sharing our journey. We're sharing, takeaways from the episodes and things that you're doing in your own life that maybe you were inspired through an episode or a guest that I brought on here, and we're sharing that together. And this is something that I'll be prioritizing, and I knew that I wanted to bring even more for you guys. That's why I've doubled the amount of episodes that are coming out every week. You're getting 2 episodes a week. I'm bringing on these guests that I know are going to be such good fits for what you guys are looking for. And I'm just excited to be able to serve you guys in a lot of different ways, depending wherever you're at on your journey, because we're all in different chapters, and I recognize that like I don't create cookie cutter programs, and so I also don't want to create like a cookie cutter support where like you're only able to work with me at this level and that's it. Like I want it to be wherever you're at right now and however you need the support, I'm able to meet you there in that space. So look into what I have. I'll actually give you just like the links in the show notes so that you can just look into them and see what they are. But wherever you're at right now in this chapter, I want you to think and believe everything is working out for you. Even if this feels like a hard chapter to get through, you are growing from it. There is something to be learned here. Even if it's just learning how to hold space for these heavy emotions, even if it's, putting yourself out there, trying something new, getting out of your comfort zone. So I would love for you to think about that and start to maybe write on your mirror, everything is always working out for me, and see how you start to notice small things that do work out in your day. Celebrate them a little bit more every day. And if you want more support with shifting your mindset on an even deeper level, look into the different ways that I can support you and reach out to me if you have questions. But I'm very, very excited for this year. I'm excited for this new mindset and the direction of this podcast, as well as my coaching. And it truly is my mission to support you with your big, scary, exciting goals. And I also want to help you figure out a sustainable day-to-day routine that gets you to start showing up unapologetically and more confidently in all areas of your life. So let's do this. Let's go confident together. If there is something you have questions about, definitely let me know. Either way, I want you to start believing everything is always working out for you. Watch what comes into your world as you start to step into that mindset. And yeah, it really changed my life, and I hope it changes yours. But that's all I got for today. Just a little heart to heart with you. And if you have any questions, want to work together, definitely reach out. And if you want to hear any of my, alumni experiences who's worked with me, I do have some alumni episodes on here. BCB, Where Are They Now? And that is something that I'm very open with. So if you want to connect with anyone, let me know. Either way, shoot me a message. And I'm excited for this next chapter for you.